and welcome to LinkedIn Live with Lisa Sider. I'm Lata, and right now we are going on a collective flashback. 2 years ago, but what feels like an eternity. Mine was a typical Indian middle class household with fixed monthly dates or for destocking on groceries and staples. I remember when my favorite biscuits went out of stock, I had to wait for the next month's grocery restock. Haven't we all encountered such a situation? I'm pretty sure we have. और अब अच्छा मैगी खत्म हो गई, चलो ऑर्डर कर देते हैं, या कुछ खाने का मन कर रहा है, चलो ऑर्डर कर देते हैं. Such are the changes that are there in consumer behavior today. From value to convenience, shifting from bigger monthly purchases to weekly or in smaller basket size. While partly it is because of the pandemic, the effort owes to the increasing affinity of the online world and the convenience seeking Gen Z customers, not shying away from intelligent and top purchase. Commerce is the delivery of consumables within 45 minutes or less and with a nominal delivery charge. Are Swiggy's Instamart, Google backed Dunzo, Basket, and Blinket, with many new ones still on the rise. Those products like consumables, which includes fresh food, fresh vegetables and meat, staples, packaged and frozen food, beverages, medicine, tobacco, personal care products, and a lot more. And the adjacent categories that include flower, gifts, small electronics, etc. So, in today's live session, we will be talking about the magic of quick commerce and actually rebranded marketplace Blinket, and talk about their USP, delivering order under 10 minutes. To be truthful, when I think about it, 10-minute delivery trend seems like a magic trick. And magicians aren't supposed to reveal their secret behind the magic tricks. But we'll try to as close as possible. Introduce to our guest supply chain at Blinket, a passer of DFA Institute and an IITM. He started small back in 2008, joined Blinket, which was then Grofers, in 2015, and with his perseverance, within just 5 years, he's leading the supply chain operations at the organization. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Aditya Dubey. Welcome, Mr. Dubey. It's wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you, Racheta. Hello, everyone. Great to be again on the platform. Wonderful initiative by Logistics Insider, and great to connect with everyone. Thank you.
Great. So we'll dive right into today's interview. But before that, I'd like to inform our audience to drop their questions in the comment section. So, to start, Mr. Dubey, introduce us to the concept of instant commerce being indistinguishable from magic.
Okay. So imagine when you were a child, and something went out of stock at your home, right? And your mom used to say, "Acha, can you get it?" And you were like, "Okay, I'll come back in 10 minutes." So that's the magic, right? So you're reliving the childhood, and of course the instant gratification. Like you don't need to plan something. Um, you know. So this all has combined reliving the childhood, the magic of instant gratification. You can get anything in 10 minutes, so it's not going to be about just groceries. It will be about everything in coming years. So combining everything, and no need to plan, especially when people have very busy schedules. So combination of everything is contributing to this magic. And we have seen, like we have seen enormous results, like great results here. There are many players around, starting up. They are also seeing very good results. So I think the world is going to shift from next day delivery or 2-day delivery to this quick commerce, instant commerce, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. That's how the world's going to look like in a few years.
In fact, I was, hearing you, and I was just reading about quick commerce and seeing how the trends are going. it just struck my mind. I don't know how and I don't know from where. जैसे सैंटा क्लॉज होता है ना, आपको पता भी नहीं चलता कि कहाँ से आ गया एकदम
Yeah.
फटाफट से. So when we were kids, that was the thing. And आज की डेट में I think quick commerce is doing the same thing. You wish for something and you get it the next few minutes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely. Like,
moving on.
yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead.
No, I was saying, just imagine that, there's a housing society, and everyone, stocks up essentials in their kitchen. Now imagine a world where there's a common kitchen, right? You just like click on your app and it's there, right? So it's like that.
Absolutely. So, what was the reason behind the recent rebranding of Grofers as Blinket?
I think uh, any change requires new thinking. You have to unlearn what you were doing earlier, undo, what you did earlier. And I think that's where it came from, right? It's a new company. We're building something very new. We didn't want to live with the baggage of, the image that we had in the mind of our customers. And even internally, right, it's difficult to change the mindset of everyone. So I think all these, multiple things contributed to the rebranding of, Grofers, which, we are now Blinkit. I don't have got the t-shirt right now, but I found an old yellow t-shirt which I've worn here.
Hmm. But I really like the new, the way it has been designed from
Yeah.
Grofers to Blinket, and the advertisement that Grofers is now Blinket. I really like that. So Blinket gives the idea of everything fast. You blink and it's here.
Yeah.
How how did you guys think of this name? How did you put a finger down on it?
I think so. We had come down to 4 5 different names, and like then someone mentioned about I Dream of Genie, where the genie used to like do this Blinket, and
Uh-huh.
I think and yeah, I mean that's how we came to it.
Well, आज की डेट में Q-commerce is no less than a genie.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Blinkit was, one of the very few organizations that was operating even during the peak of pandemic,
Hmm.
and tirelessly, I must say. So, how does one achieve the delivery target of 15 minutes, or rather under 10 minutes, in such a situation, while also maintaining the safety of the workforce involved, the
Hmm.
customers as well? And what is like behind the scenes? Kya chalta hai? How is it? How is the situation in the backdrop?
I think the combination of two things. One is the network of our stores. So we have opened our stores within every 2 kilometers of the city. We are not there yet. We are still opening it up. We have opened 300 stores. We'll be at 500 stores by January, and the aim is to go to 1,000 stores pan India. And this is only I'm talking about the major cities where we were earlier based on. There is a separate team who's working on the expansion of new cities as well. So we'll be there in 100 cities by March. I am assuming we'll be having 1,500 odd stores across India by then. So that is one, density of stores. Second is the magic happens inside the store. The technology plays the role. How do you quickly pack it up? How quickly hand it over to the delivery boy, and the routing algorithm and the navigation that you show to the delivery boy. I think what people have been talking about the safety. We are not compromising at on safety at all. Like in fact, from a particular store, how much area can be catered is calculated assuming 10 kilometers per hour speed of the delivery boy. Right. So there's no compromise on safety. There's no people are not in hurry. It's just technology and our dense network of stores which are making it happen.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think uh, delivering groceries was present before pandemic as well. It's not a very new concept to India, but it was like walking on a tightrope. It might just work. It might just not work.
Hmm.
And there was not a lot of demand for it. हम लोग prefer करते थे that we go to the store, देख के लाने वाला जो concept था कि देख
Yeah.
के लाएंगे quality check करके या expire for that matter check करके.
Correct.
But how do you think the pandemic induced a greater demand for quick commerce?
I think it was very natural, right? Many people before pandemic, were like that, right? They wanted to see the product, and actually, pandemic forced them to use online service, right? So,
Hmm.
and then they realized there's no difference, and
Hmm.
actually, pandemic really helped all of us. And I would say pandemic is the biggest factor in increasing the penetration of all the grocery e-commerce companies.
Hmm. Hmm. I still remember when it was the peak, like in
Yeah,
2020, March, April, May. I suddenly realized that, oh my god, ordering online is so easy. You don't
yeah,
have to come in contact with anybody, and the delivery person leaves the package at your doorstep, or at a safe distance from you. You just put
right.
it outside, get it sterilized and all, and it was just so easy. I think that also was one of the factor that people started realizing that नहीं ये अच्छा है
Yeah,
ये try कर
absolutely.
सकते हैं.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even my parents, they live in a small town in Madhya Pradesh. Like,
Hmm.
there's no online grocery player, but
Hmm.
they started. So there was a local website which kind of started taking order, and then they, aggregated from multiple kirana stores, and they started using it, and that's when it
Hmm.
clicked to us. It's not about tier one cities or tier two cities. It's going to, we adopted everywhere in India.
Absolutely. So, how does quick commerce maintain kind of a balance between customer and the delivery persons, like giving the best of both the worlds?
Um, um, and what do you mean exactly by the balance? Sorry.
I mean, like the customer is also happy, and the person who's delivering the order, he's
Yeah,
also happy that being catering to your customers as well as your employees at the same time.
I think what happens is, of course, customers are happy with a 10-minute delivery, right? From a delivery person's perspective, what happens is, now they are getting to deliver in a very small radius, right, as compared to the earlier days, right? They were like traveling 5 6 kilometers, delivering.
Hmm.
Now they are only working in a locality or a neighborhood, so their job becomes a bit easier, right?
Hmm.
And they get to do more deliveries, which in turn makes more revenue for them, right? So I
Okay.
think the closer you get, the faster you get. The delivery boys make more money. It's beneficial for the companies as well, because of course the
Hmm.
distances are lower, the costs are lower. So it's a
Hmm.
win-win situation for everyone. That's how your local economy works. Like, in every neighborhood
Hmm.
you have grocery stores. Every neighborhood you have a medical store. Correct.
Yeah.
So it is like that. The more dense you get, the more closer you get, everything starts to improve. And of course,
Hmm.
customers get happy because of the small radius, we are able to reach them faster, and they get this stuff very quickly.
आजकल ये एक ट्रेंड भी है ना that there's you get promo codes for free delivery above a certain amount of time, or you get discounts over the price that's there on the online store.
Hmm.
And with what you're saying, it just struck my mind. I was there at the warehousing show a couple of days back, and a speaker there. I was in the conference, and the speaker there said that when the reach is concerned, when we talk about reach, supply chains are getting really small, but at the same time also getting really big when it is. So it's actually it's very magical, as you as the term was coined
Absolutely. I
by
think,
Blinket.
yeah, I think everyone, uh, everyone should, if anyone, listening and looking to venture into quick commerce or open something like that, I think technology has to be leveraged, because, in this business, if you're only relying on operations or manual work, it's going to be very complex, right?
And
Like,
I
for
think
example,
one, yeah, please go ahead.
no, I'm saying, for example, in the city of Gurgaon, we are going to have
Hmm.
70 stores. Imagine the operations going, which are going in the background. It's very difficult. If you don't have the technology, if you're not leveraging technology, it will become very, very difficult to manage all of that. It is actually going bigger. You're right.
And I was just saying that, when I was just thinking of this question, that how does it make customers as well as your employees happy. uh, my thought behind this question was that, my grandparents,
Hmm.
like people who are 80, 85 plus, उनके दिमाग में भी अब ये एक चीज है कि अच्छा ग्रोसरीज मंगानी है, फ्लिपकार्ट से ऑर्डर कर दो, स्विगी से ऑर्डर कर दो, ग्रोफर्स से ऑर्डर कर दो. तो दे ऑल्सो आर, एंड आई थिंक इट मेक्स देम प्राउड ऑफ देमसेल्व्स
Hmm.
कि हाँ, हम आगे वाली जनरेशन के साथ वी हैव amalgamated ourselves.
Yeah,
And I think that is also one factor that helps the demand to increase for quick commerce.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what kind of potential do you think your competitors have, like um, Dunzo, Instamart, Zepto?
I think everyone has a lot of potential. Competition will be here to stay. The competition is there in every field. What we need to do is just respect the competition, but focus on the consumers. I think that is the only part. This is just the start of quick commerce. I don't know how it will evolve. How it will look like in a couple of years. It's a long game, and we are only months into it, right? So it's
Hmm.
not right to disrespect or demean any opponent or competition.
Hmm.
Everyone is giving their best. Everyone is working hard. Everyone
Hmm.
is contributing to building a new kind of e-commerce in our country. And the best part is we are leading the way, right? Very few
Hmm.
countries have this quick commerce. It's not like Amazon had already built the normal, the e-commerce in early 2000s, and in India it actually came in early 2010s, right? After
Very
2010
late.
was launched, right? We were
Uh,
already 10 years behind, so we
hmm.
were majorly following what was done by Amazon or other players globally. But
Hmm.
this time
Hmm.
it's different, right? The global, any global quick commerce player which is there has just started last year, right?
Hmm.
Be it Getir or GoPuff, they've all launched last year, right? So I think India will be at the forefront of quick commerce, and of course, no one player can build it, right? Everyone will build it their own way. We'll all learn from
Hmm.
each other, and we'll be solving for consumers. It is going to be a very huge ecosystem. If you
Yeah,
ask
I
me,
think there's a lot of.
yeah,
Hmm.
if you ask me personally, I think in 3 4 years, the normal e-commerce will seem like ancient.
Hmm.
3 4 years is a long
Absolutely.
time, I would say. I mean, in just a couple of years, right? Because as soon as a customer, gets used to a certain service, the other service
Hmm.
seems like distant memory.
Absolutely. I mean, Amazon offering next day deliveries on a membership basis. I
Yeah.
think that has already induced a lot of competition when it comes to um, the generic quick e-commerce, like apparel or electronics. तो अभी थोड़ा है उसमें 2 दिन लगते हैं, 3 दिन लगते हैं. And also, I had another point in mind, which I really forgot. But we'll move on to our next question.
Yeah.
Uh, like you said that everything is still new, and but it's rapidly growing. So, what are the challenges of operating a quick commerce organization?
Um, Challenges, I would say, everything is new. So every day is a new challenge. You don't know how to deal with them.
Hmm.
Uh, um, See, be it how how do you uh, sorry, I haven't thought of the good answers here. So I'll trying to think of. I think one of the big challenges is the replenishment, right? So because
Hmm.
now you're keeping inventory at different nodes. So
Hmm.
versus the older model where you had a big warehouse, you used to stuff everything there. So how do you keep on replenishing every dark store so that all the needs of customers are catered for? So that is one big
Hmm.
challenge. Other challenges, of course, our cities are not designed for this. The infrastructure is not like that. So currently, finding a place, finding a dark store, enough bike parking space, these small things,
Hmm.
become challenging. But I think, as we move forward, I think things will evolve. Infrastructure,
Hmm.
I would say in a few years, I think infrastructure will also be built in India, for this quick commerce.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Keeping in mind
yeah,
the
exactly.
demands of the
Exactly.
economy. Yes, absolutely.
The Yeah, third thing which hasn't come as a challenge, we haven't faced that challenge. But in my mind, I would be excited to see. I'm like, how when this evolves and a certain period of time passes.
Hmm.
How do people who have been traditional supply chain professionals, how do they unlearn their previous learnings, and how do they
Hmm.
adopt it?
Hmm.
Because it's
Hmm.
difficult. It's
Absolutely.
difficult to fathom how these operations go on.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I think these are the few things that are on top of my mind.
And I think it's a kind of segment, I would say, wherein there are a lot of best practices to be learned from each other,
Yeah.
and that would, I think, help a
Hmm.
lot overcoming the challenges.
Yeah.
All right. So before we move on, I'd like to tell our audiences that we are almost up with the time for the interview. So, if you have any questions, you can put them in the comments box, and we'll take them after we're done with the questions. Okay. So, do you think that this quick commerce would take down the, I would say, centuries old, the kirana culture as such?
I think that's yet to be seen. There is two sets of belief. One is that market is huge, everyone will coexist. It has, online grocery has been since last 5 6 years. Kirana stores have been there, supermarkets have been there, right? So
Mm,
it's just the demand increases, everyone is gets absorbed. The second set of belief is that these Kirana stores will themselves turn into dark stores. So at Blinkit, we are actually working with local entrepreneurs. So they are the ones who are running these dark stores. We help them, train them how to run operations, how to maintain inventory, and
mm,
I think half of them are actually people who have had their own kirana stores. So they are already aware of how to maintain groceries in the store. Only thing we are
mm,
training them is
mm.
how to make the order ready for the online delivery, for the delivery boy. So it would be a mix of both. The kirana stores will stay, and many kirana stores owner will actually turn into dark store owners. So I don't think there will be any impact on them. Uh, yeah,
That, this was really interesting that the people who are running kirana stores can
yeah,
eventually turn their
absolutely.
stores into dark stores.
And we
I
actually
think.
invite these people. I forgot the link, but like if you go to the Blinket website, you'll find a link where if anyone is interested, they can actually apply and
Hmm.
open a dark store for us. And you are the entrepreneur. You earn whatever you're selling.
It's profitable to both the organization as well as these people.
Absolutely.
SLAG, their bread and butter would be stopped from these
Absolutely right. You
people.
For them, it's they're still continuing with the same business that they were running, and they get more
Hmm.
exposure. They would get more business because the
Hmm.
reach of the platform will be much higher.
Huh, exactly. So I was just reading that a Red Sea report said that the Indian quick commerce market will reach 5 billion USD by 2025, just in
Mhm.
upcoming few years. So, what trends do you perceive for the market to reach to that number?
I think 5 billion USD is a very small number. I would say it will be much higher. Uh, I think there is no new trend required to reach that number. I highly believe we'll be there in next 4 5 months, 6 months. in the existing quick commerce. But the new trends that will be coming is that the current quick commerce players are only in the sector of grocery. uh, I think it will quickly expand to all the kind of goods that are
Hmm.
being sold on platforms like Amazon, Flipkart. In fact,
Hmm.
uh, Blinkit is also about delivering in 10 minutes. It's We are not going to limit to groceries. Next iPhone launch,
Hmm.
you'll soon get it on Blinkit. Then
I'll order one.
absolutely. So you'll get your iPhone at 12:10 a.m. in the night.
Very nice. Okay, I think we are done here, and we let's take the audience questions. Um, okay, yeah. So there's a question by Muhammad Shakib Ansari. He asks that he rather says that I'm a fan of this concept, but out of curiosity, I have a question. If such facility is provided, do you think people will become more ignorant of planning before ordering, or in other way, avoiding to order most items in one time, and it will put more cost on logistics?
Um, I think depends on personality actually. Planning is something people who are more planned in their life will continue to be planned. Um
Mm.
but of course, here you're right, Mohammed. Many people, habits will change, and it will put cost on logistics. But I'm sure, we'll figure out ways. We have done that, right? So be it combining multiple orders, I believe the density will be so high that we'll be having a dark store outside every housing societies. We won't need to actually have bikers, delivery boys on bikes who are doing the delivery. They'll be just like walking, right? So the cost would be probably on the electricity cost of the lift or elevators in your building. But I think there will be ways to solve that. We are, as I said, we are in early stages. We'll figure out, everyone, of course, not just we. People will come with innovative ideas. Drones are not far away, right? I think maybe 2 3 years down the line, we might have drones doing the deliveries. I don't know, but definitely
And do you
habits will
think?
change. Habits will change. My habit has changed. I used to be a planned purchaser, not because I used to work at Grofers, but just like that, I was a planned person. Now my habit has changed completely. Yeah.
Hmm. Do you think these drone deliveries can further strengthen the concept of quick commerce?
Absolutely. Everyone is waiting for that, I guess. I think pilots haven't really happened in India. I think in US
Hmm.
pilots are happening. In some other countries pilots are happening. I'm not aware, but I'm sure some out there might be, working with uh, government to allow these things, or maybe allow the pilots to happen in India as well.
But that would now again, won't it increase the cost factor to some
Drones,
extent at least? Yes.
drones. I think that should decrease, right?
No. From maybe I'm wrong. I mean,
Yeah,
just
no, no.
correct me if I am. Uh, if we employ drones, that would increase our investment as well, right? It would need trained people to operate those drones.
I think there
So
would be
I was
autonomous.
going in that sense.
I think drones would become autonomous in coming future, right? Uh,
Okay.
yeah, the only cost would be the initial capex cost. After that, they would be working on batteries, much better than currently delivery boys burning petrol. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be great if we could see drones in a few years. That will decongest our roads as well.
Absolutely.
Interesting to see how the traffic and airspace is being managed. But yeah, we are far away from that.
Actually, I mean, I remember now that we're talking about drones. That recently Swiggy tested drones for deliveries of food and medicine as well.
Hmm.
So I think it's not far away that we get drones included in quick commerce. That'll be
Yeah.
great. Oh my god, my order falling from the sky. just excites me so much. I love this concept of quick commerce actually.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take the next question. Um, okay, what is the biggest supply chain challenge that you faced? The biggest one, the one that you can point out in particular.
I think, as I said, replenishment of the dark stores. That is going to be the key because uh, dark stores have taken away the liberty of stuffing very high amount of inventory in your warehouses. You get very small space that you need to optimize, and choosing the right inventory levels to keep at dark stores and the speed of replenishing it, that
Hmm.
is the biggest challenge. And I think that will be the distinguishing factor among different players in the future.
So, Gaurav Dubey also asked how many dark stores have been created by Blinkit to achieve this 10-minute delivery, and
Currently we
can
are
you
at
just
300.
throw more
Yeah,
light on it?
currently we are at 300 stores, but that's not even halfway mark. I think we are aiming around 1,000 stores. We should reach 500 mark by end of January.
And
Um,
this is pan India.
this is pan India, and these I'm talking about the top 10, 12 cities, and of course we are also expanding. So I would say we'll be at around 1,500 or something like that by April, March, April. And I think
That's
that's
a
when
great number.
we should be able to cover 90% of uh, the areas in the cities that we are present in.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also have a question that I have a question that
Yeah.
what about the automation of these dark stores? I mean, the big warehouses, we now have grade A warehouses, and in the bigger warehouses, there's a scope for automation. But
Hmm.
small dark stores, what kind of automation do you think can be applied here?
Um, Frankly, I haven't had the time to think about it. But I think something like vending machines, or some kind of things that the order gets punched quickly. I think it all going
Hmm.
to be around retrieval of the items. Uh, yeah, frankly, I haven't had given thought much thought to it yet. So
Let's see how that plays out.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I think we are coming to the last question from the audience here. Uh, Geeta Siddharth asks, what do you think should be the government's role for this sector, and what policy support would be required to multiply the growth?
Mm, I think maybe for maybe in a couple of years, I think allowing the pilots of drone deliveries is one thing that I can think of. We are on that topic. um, Apart from that, I don't think there's any such support is required right now.
So everything is in place from that end.
I think so. We haven't faced anything yet.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that's good. That's a good sign as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I think this marks the end of a very interesting and eloquent session, and I really hope our audience also enjoyed it as much as I did. I was like super excited. I thank you so much, Mr. Dubey, for sharing your valuable time as well as your knowledge with us. And I'll sign off for today क्योंकि अभी मुझे जाके पनीर और दही order करना
Oh,
है.
nice.
I wish you all a great weekend. Stay home and stay safe. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.